Alright, so here we go. We're going video number 2. Clip on the microphone. On number 12, we got the perimeter. PRST is 10 more than 5 times RS. Oh, that's fantastic. Alright, let's do some perimeter work. So perimeter is going to be what? It's going to be PT plus TS plus SR plus RP is the perimeter. And that equals 5 RS's plus 10. Okay. PR is 26. Where's PR? There it is. PR is 26. Lovely. Find RS. Okay. Well, if PR is 26, then ST is also 26. So I'm going to replace that. So what do I got here? Oh, and PT and SR are the same. I'm going to call them X. So 2X plus 26 and 26 is 52 equals 5X plus 10, because RS is also X. Great. So 3X equals 42, which means X is 14. And that's it. RS is 14 equals RS. Lovely. All right. Next page. We got draw a conclusion from the following information using the chain rule. Write the conclusion in words below. So if Mark mows the lawn, then Brian will broom the basement. So that's M implies B. Whoops, not up here. Woo, there we go. If Brian brooms the basement, then Colleen will not cook and clean. If Katie flies the kite, then George will not go golfing. That's sad. And if Mark doesn't mow the lawn, better mow the lawn, then Katie will fly the kite. Alright. So, before I even think about these things, personally, I change them to the contrapositive. So that means not B goes to not M. C goes to not B. G goes to not K. And not K goes to M. Then I'm kind of looking for a letter that doesn't really get repeated, like C. Notice how C starts something and then nothing ever comes back to it. So I'm going to start with C. C goes to not B. Where does not B go? There it is. It goes. So I'm going to cross that out. Not B goes to not M. So these are links in a chain. Where does not M go? Not M goes to K. And where does K go? K goes to not G. And does not G go to anything? No, because none of these have a not G. So that's it. It's over. So C goes to not G, which means if Colleen cooks and cleans, then George will not go golfing, because he's probably eating her meal. George will not go golfing. There you go. Alright, 14. ABC is a right angle. I'll write that down. Angle ABC is a right angle. DBC is 20. So this is 20 degrees in here. FEG is 40. And GEH is 30. Alright. All that's given. So, prove ABD is congruent to FEH. Okay, well FEH is 70 degrees. So that means I need ABD to be 70 degrees. So do I know it's 70 degrees? Let's think about that. ABD and DBC together make a right angle, which is 90. So let's talk about that first. Angle ABC equals 90 degrees because if an angle is right, then it equals 90 degrees, okay? Which means angle ABD equals 70 degrees because of subtraction. And what else? FEH angle FEH equals 70 degrees because of addition, right? When you add the 30 and the 40. Oh, sorry about that. Addition. So then we're done. So angle ABD is congruent to angle FEH because if two angles, that's like if you're angry, if two angles have the same measure, they are congruent. Okay. Find the measure of angle 1. Well, all three of these got to add up to 180. So it means I'm going to add these two together and then subtract from 160. So 60 degrees and 29 minutes plus 70 degrees, 40 minutes, and 16 seconds. I'm going to add 2 zeros here. Equals 16 seconds, 69 minutes, and 130 degrees. And just because this makes me uncomfortable, I'm going to call this 131, 9, and 16. So I took off those 60 minutes and turned it into a degree. So now I got to do 180 minus this. So I'm going to borrow a degree from the 180, and then I'm going to borrow a minute. And I've done this a couple times before, so that's what's going on here. Minus 131, 09, 16. 60 minus 16 is 44. 59 minus 9 is 50. 9 minus 1 is 8. 4, there you go. Angle 1 is that amount. Alright, home stretch. No, not home stretch. Okay, between what two values? So the triangle inequality theorem says, I'm going to call this x. Okay? First of all, when you add any two sides, it's got to be larger than the third. So that means x plus 12 has to be bigger than 19, which means x has to be bigger than 7. Okay? So that's basically smallest that x can be. We also know that x plus 19 has to be bigger than 12, but that's going to happen anyway because 19 is bigger than 12. We know that 12 plus 19 has to be bigger than x. Okay, so x has to be, what does this equal? This equals 31. So x has to be less than 31, which means x is between 7 and 31. 17. BD bisects ABC. That means that these two are congruent, and it means 2x minus y is equal to 3y minus x. And ABC is 25. So that means when you add these two together, it equals 25. So, okay. Well, that's interesting. So this has to equal half of 25. Alright, we'll just do this. 2x minus y plus 3y minus x equals 25. Alright, now I'm going to put these into a form I can use. So I'm going to change this equation. I'm going to add x to both sides. 3x, I'm going to add 3y to both sides. Plus 2y equals 0. There's nothing left over there. And then this one, 2x minus x is x. Negative y plus 3y is 2y. And then that 25 stays there. And I have to solve the system. So I'm going to multiply the second by a negative. Hope this works. 2x equals negative 25. I got a bad feeling. 2x equals negative 25. X equals negative... You know why? Because I'm in a hurry. Because I got a meeting in like a second. Oh! BD bisects ABC. Alright, well that doesn't... Maybe I just cut this in half then. ABC is 25. I got a feeling there's a typo on this. This is just going to be half. Okay, so let's redo. I'm kind of glad you're seeing me do this, right? The whole thing is 25 degrees, which means if BD bisects it, then this has to be 12.5 and this has to be 12.5. Maybe that's easier. So 2x minus y equals 12.5. Negative x plus 3y equals 12.5. Let's try that. I'm going to double this one. So that's a 2, that's a 6, and that's a 25. Add it up. 5y equals 12 and a half. Still kind of weird, but alright. So y, is that right? I think it is. 12.5 divided by 5 is 2.5. Well, this is working out a little better. So y is 2.5. Guess we'll plug it in somewhere. 2x minus 2.5 equals 12.5. 2x equals 15. There you go. Okay, so that was better. Let's pretend that never happened. The measure of the supplement is 50 less than 3 times the complement. The measure of the supplement is 180 minus x. Is 50 less than 3 times the complement. So that means I'm going to take 3 times the complement and subtract off 50. Then I'm going to solve. 180 minus x equals 270 minus 3x minus 50. 180 minus x equals 220 minus 3x. Yeah. Add 3x to this side, and you get 2x. 220 minus 180 is 40. So x equals 20. The measure of the complement. Well, x is the angle, so the complement is 70 degrees. All right, 19. AB is perpendicular to BC. C is complementary to 1. This one is complementary to this one. Prove C is congruent to 2. Okay, well, if C is complementary to 1 and 2 is complementary to 1 because they form a right angle, then C and 2 have to be congruent. So that's where we're going with this. Step 1. AB perpendicular to BC and angle C complementary to angle 1 given. 2. Angle ABC is a right angle because if 2 segments are perpendicular, they form a right angle, which means 1 is complementary to 2 because if an angle is right, then the angles are complementary. And so that means angle C has to be congruent to angle 2 because if 2 angles, and I'm talking about C and 2 right here, are complementary to the same angle, then they are congruent. Okay? So the 2 angles that are complementary here, or we're talking about, are if 2 angles are complementary, so that's angle C and angle 2 are complementary to this guy, angle 1. So that's why C equals 2. Home stretch. Okay, so given AC bisects BAD, BAD is an angle, so these 2 angles are congruent. Angle BAC is congruent to angle DAC because if a ray bisects an angle, it forms 2 congruent angles. AC bisects BD. This is different. Now we're talking about a segment. So now we're going to say BC is congruent to CD because if a ray bisects a segment, it forms 2 congruent